Listen, if you want to do anything great in this world, if you want to protect the people you love, if you want to build something that lasts, you can't be soft. You have to be a fefs, caking monster power through responsibility means understanding that real power is not about dominance or control, but about mastery over yourself first, and then over the world around you. It's the awareness that strength without discipline is chaos, and influence without accountability is corruption. When you develop power, whether physical, intellectual, emotional, or social, you begin to realize how dangerous you can become. You recognize the capacity you hold to harm, to manipulate, to destroy, even if you never act on it. And that realization, that inner confrontation with your own potential for destruction, is exactly what teaches you restraint. Because power without responsibility isn't strength. It's recklessness dressed in confidence. True strength begins when you stop trying to appear harmless. Too many people think being good means being weak. They equate gentleness with fragility. But the truth is, if you're incapable of causing harm, your goodness doesn't come from moral virtue. It comes from limitation. Being harmless isn't the same as being good. It just means you're unable to act otherwise. Responsibility begins the moment you understand that you could do damage but choose not to. That choice, to control your power, to direct it, to carry it with precision instead of chaos, is what separates the powerful from the dangerous. To hold power responsibly, you must first earn it. That means developing competence, discipline, and consistency. It means doing the things most people avoid enduring discomfort, staying focused when the world distracts you, and pushing through failure until skill becomes instinct. Every act of self-discipline is an act of responsibility, because you're proving to yourself that your power is under command. It's not just about physical control. It's emotional and moral control, too. The ability to stay calm when provoked, to remain clear-headed under pressure, to speak with conviction without losing empathy. That's power refined through responsibility. When you build power without responsibility, you become a threat to yourself and others. You lash out when you're frustrated. You manipulate when you're afraid. And you dominate when you feel small. But when you build responsibility alongside power, you become steady. You no longer need to prove your strength. You embody it. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop competing for validation and start creating impact. Power through responsibility is the art of transforming your instincts into principles. You no longer follow impulse, you follow intention. To carry real power means accepting the weight that comes with it. People will look to you for leadership, for decisions, for protection. You can't escape that burden once you've proven your strength. The world will test you to see if you can bear it with integrity. And it's in those tests, when things are hard, when people doubt you, when temptation whispers, that your responsibility defines you. It's easy to act noble when everything's comfortable. But true power shows itself in moments of restraint, when you could take advantage, when you could win unfairly, when you could walk away and no one would ever know, and you still choose to do what's right. Power through responsibility is not a performance. It's a practice. It's the quiet decision to use your strength to lift instead of crush, to build instead of break, to influence without corrupting. It's realizing that every ounce of power you gain multiplies your obligation to use it wisely. You become the anchor in chaos, the force that stabilizes instead of destabilizes. That's what makes power beautiful. When it's guided by responsibility, it doesn't just change you. It changes everyone around you. To embrace the darkness within is to face the parts of yourself you've been taught to fear, suppress, or deny. It's not about glorifying pain or chaos, but about understanding that the very impulses you've labeled as bad or ugly are also sources of immense strength. Every person carries a shadow, the anger, envy, greed, rage, pride, or desire they try to hide beneath layers of politeness and control. But denying that shadow doesn't erase it. It just drives it deeper, where it festers and grows. The more you run from your darkness, the more power it has over you. When you finally turn and look it in the eye, when you acknowledge that darkness is part of who you are, something changes. You stop being ruled by it. You begin to master it. There's a reason why people fear their own depth. It's easier to stay comfortable on the surface, to pretend that you're only good, kind, and pure. But that's not reality. Human nature isn't clean or simple. It's messy, contradictory, and wild. To embrace your darkness means to accept that you are capable of terrible things, and that this capability doesn't make you evil. It makes you whole. Because when you understand the darker side of your nature, you gain access to an energy that's raw and honest. Anger becomes drive. Fear becomes focus. Pain becomes power. The same emotions that can destroy you can also be transformed into tools for creation and strength. Too many people live half lives, pretending to be only light. They repress their desires, silence their rage, and hide their ambition under false humility. But repression breeds weakness. It breeds resentment. When you deny the darkness, it doesn't disappear. It seeps out in ways you can't control. You explode in moments of stress. You sabotage yourself when opportunity arises. You hate others for reflecting back the parts of you that you won't accept. But when you embrace your darkness consciously, you stop being a slave to it. You learn to channel it. You learn that your aggression can become assertiveness, that your hunger for power can become leadership, that your desire for control can become mastery. The darkness within isn't your enemy. It's your raw potential. It's the chaos that fuels growth, the storm that forces transformation. Every great creator, warrior, thinker, or leader has walked through their own shadows. They didn't become great by staying pure. They became great by integrating their demons and learning how to use them. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the willingness to walk with it. Strength isn't the absence of rage. It's the ability to harness it. The people who do great things in life aren't the ones who ignore their darker impulses. They're the ones who've made peace with them, who know how to let them serve a higher purpose. When you embrace the darkness within, you stop hiding from yourself. You stop pretending that you're less than you are. You become dangerous in the best possible way. Because now you know what you're capable of, and you choose to direct it with intention. The darkness gives you depth. It gives you authenticity. It gives you power. It keeps you grounded in reality, because you know exactly what you carry inside you, and you no longer need to fear it. You can walk through the world with calm confidence, knowing that you've met your own shadow and lived to tell the story. When you own your darkness, it stops owning you, and that is where true freedom begins. Competence over comfort is the mindset that separates those who grow from those who decay. It's the recognition that comfort, though pleasant, is a silent killer of ambition, strength, and potential. Comfort whispers to you that you've done enough, that you deserve a break, that you don't need to push any further. It convinces you that mediocrity is acceptable as long as you feel safe and content. But competence is born in discomfort. It grows in struggle, in repetition, in failure, in persistence. To choose competence over comfort means to value growth over ease, mastery over momentary pleasure, and long-term fulfillment over short-term satisfaction. Competence doesn't come from talent alone. It's forged through relentless effort, through the willingness to be bad at something until you become great. Most people never reach real competence because they quit the moment things get hard. They retreat to what's familiar, where there's no risk of failure or embarrassment. But you cannot build strength without strain. Every skill you admire, every success story you respect, was built by someone who endured long periods of discomfort, who worked when they didn't feel like it, who faced doubt and fear and kept moving anyway. Comfort will always call to you, but competence demands sacrifice. It asks for your time, your patience, your resilience, and sometimes even your pride. There's a dangerous illusion in modern life that says happiness comes from ease. That if you can just make things comfortable enough, peaceful enough, convenient enough, you'll be satisfied. But the truth is, meaning comes from mastery. The human spirit craves progress, not pleasure. It's not comfort that gives you confidence. It's competence. When you know you can handle pressure, when you've trained your mind to focus and your body to endure, you don't need comfort anymore. You carry security within yourself. You become capable of thriving in chaos because you've built the skill to adapt, to solve, to overcome. Comfort fades the moment circumstances change, but competence endures no matter where you go. Choosing competence over comfort also means facing the parts of yourself that resist effort. The lazy voice that says, "It's good enough." The fearful voice that says, "What if I fail?" The prideful voice that says, "I don't need help." Every time you ignore those voices and take disciplined action, you strengthen the part of you that leads. You start to understand that the pain of effort is temporary, but the cost of comfort is permanent. Every day you stay comfortable is a day you don't grow. Every skill you avoid learning, because it's difficult, is a wall you build around your own potential. The discomfort of growth is the price of freedom, the freedom to be capable, confident, and self-reliant. Competence over comfort is not about rejecting rest or peace. It's about knowing that comfort is earned, not indulged. Rest means something when it follows real effort. Ease feels richer when it's contrasted with struggle. You don't appreciate success until you've suffered for it. Competence gives life texture, weight, and meaning. It turns work into purpose and challenges into opportunities. The pursuit of competence transforms you into someone who can stand firm when others crumble, someone who can lead when others follow, someone who can act when others freeze. Comfort may keep you warm, but competence keeps you alive. And the world doesn't reward those who stay comfortable. It rewards those who can deliver, those who can adapt, and those who refuse to stop learning, no matter how hard it gets. To balance the beast is to walk the fine line between power and peace, strength and restraint, dominance and compassion. Every human being carries within them a primal force, an instinctual drive to assert, to defend, to conquer, to survive. This is the beast, the raw and untamed part of you that wants to win, that refuses to be broken, that hungers for control and recognition. It's the part of you that wakes up when you're threatened, challenged, or cornered. But that same energy, left unchecked, can consume you. It can turn courage into cruelty, confidence into arrogance, ambition into obsession. To balance the beast means to master that energy without killing it, to channel it into purpose rather than destruction. People often misunderstand what it means to be balanced. They think balance is about muting their intensity, dulling their instincts, or pretending that aggression doesn't exist. But real balance doesn't come from denial. It comes from integration. You cannot destroy the beast within you without destroying your fire. You need that primal edge. It's what gives you strength in chaos and determination when others give up. But you also need control, the steady hand that directs that fire where it needs to go. The goal isn't to silence your power, but to civilize it, to train it like a warrior sharpens their blade, not to cut aimlessly, but to strike with precision and meaning. Balance comes from understanding timing. There are moments to unleash the beast and moments to hold it back. There are times when you must fight and times when you must forgive. To live well is to know the difference. If you release your power without thought, you become reckless. If you suppress it entirely, you become weak. Both paths destroy you. But when you know when to rise and when to yield, when to speak and when to stay silent, when to dominate and when to guide, you begin to move with true mastery. It's not about taming yourself into harmlessness. It's about becoming a force that is dangerous but deliberate. Balancing the beast also means confronting your own ego. The beast feeds on pride and victory, on being right, on proving superiority. Left unchecked, it can drive you to destroy what you love in the name of power. You see it in people who climb high but lose themselves in the process. Those who mistake aggression for leadership, fear for respect, control for strength. When you balance the beast, you stop letting ego dictate your choices. You learn to use your power for creation, not domination. You become the kind of person who could crush others, but chooses instead to protect and uplift them. That's real strength. Not the ability to harm, but the ability to restrain. The beast is not your enemy. It's your ally when you lead it with purpose. It's the fire that pushes you to train harder, think sharper, and aim higher. Without it, you would stagnate, drift, and fall into complacency. But it must serve your higher self, not enslave it. Balance comes from constant awareness, from reminding yourself that the beast exists to serve the mission, not to consume it. When your heart and your hunger move in the same direction, you become unstoppable. You act with passion, but never chaos, with intensity, but never malice. You walk through life powerful but calm, fierce but centered, strong but kind. The beast remains within you, alive and ready, but always under your command, never in control of you. Transformation and mastery are not single moments of triumph. They are lifelong processes of becoming. Transformation begins when you recognize that who you are is not fixed, that every day is an opportunity to evolve, to shed an old skin, and to step closer to the person you are meant to be. Mastery is the discipline that sustains that evolution. The relentless commitment to refining your craft, your mind, and your character until excellence becomes second nature. Together, transformation and mastery form the path from potential to power, from chaos to order, from mere existence to purpose. Transformation requires destruction. You cannot become something new without letting parts of your old self die. Comfort, fear, laziness, and ego all have to burn away to make room for growth. It's not a gentle process. It's raw, uncomfortable, and often lonely. You will be forced to confront your limitations and failures, to face truths you've avoided, to admit that you have been your own obstacle. But every time you break, you rebuild stronger. Every fall becomes fuel. The pain of transformation is the proof that you're alive, that you're moving forward, that you refuse to remain static. People who avoid transformation spend their lives repeating the same patterns, defending their weaknesses, and blaming the world for their stagnation. Those who embrace it understand that the path to power is paved with sacrifice and self-awareness. Mastery, on the other hand, is the art of refinement. It's what happens after transformation, when you've already stepped into a new version of yourself and now must sharpen it daily. Mastery demands patience. It doesn't chase glory, it builds it quietly, over years of repetition and focus. It's waking up before the sun, practicing the same movement, the same thought pattern, the same discipline until it becomes part of your DNA. It's not glamorous. It's not easy. But mastery is what separates the ordinary from the exceptional. The world often celebrates talent, but talent without mastery collapses under pressure. True masters are forged in the grind, the endless hours of deliberate practice, when no one is watching, no one is praising, and no one is clapping. Transformation gives you direction, mastery gives you control. One is about change, the other about precision. Without transformation, you remain stuck in who you were. Without mastery, you never become consistent in who you are becoming. Mastery teaches humility. It reminds you that you will never know everything, that there's always another level to reach, another layer to refine. It forces you to measure yourself not against others, but against your previous self. That mindset of continuous improvement rather than comparison is the essence of mastery. It's what keeps the fire alive long after the initial excitement fades. The beauty of transformation and mastery is that they feed each other. Every time you master something, you transform. Every time you transform, you open new realms to master. It's a cycle that never ends, and that's what makes life meaningful. Because to live is to grow, and to grow is to struggle. There will always be another challenge, another lesson, another test of your will. But if you commit to both transformation and mastery, you become unshackable. You stop chasing perfection and start embodying progress. You realize that greatness is not a destination but a rhythm. A daily dance between breaking and rebuilding, learning and applying, falling and rising. Transformation gives you wings. Mastery teaches you how to fly. Together, they turn you into something formidable, a human being who doesn't just survive the world, but shapes it with purpose, precision, and power.